Hey everybody, it's Tyler from 3 to Pass here, and thank goodness the mailman came on time today because it gives me an opportunity to show off my new Veissrugr deck. And also, starting with the deck face down, I just want to say peep the sleeves. I got these on pre-order a while back from 50 cards, and I really love the color variation of these sleeves, and I had these ride deck sleeves left over, and I think they look really good with the Mountain Dew Code Red Man himself. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and just jump into this. Obviously, we have the Veissrugr ride line. Nothing too special about that. Now, the deck itself doesn't have a lot of room for variation at the moment from other people's deck lists, so I won't go into too much detail about the combos and things you can do, but I'll give you a little bit of as to why I run certain cards when we get to it at certain numbers and so on and so forth. All right, so first off, we'll start with the grade 3s. Obviously, we have our 3 Veissrugr's in deck. Very strong card, in my opinion. If you ever watched our podcast that we have on the channel, I said that Veissrugr plays a lot like a Gold Paladin deck. Now, that's going to sound super strange to some people, but putting your birds to the bottom of the deck, keeping track of what criticals and triggers and all that other stuff you have in the deck still while you're thinning, along with the superior calling, and the extra shield, kind of like what Gurgit got from just being on the Vanguard, very much reminds me of a Gold Paladin deck. And I really love that. I love how he looks. I love how the deck plays so far. Very cool card. I'm excited to play more of him. Then we have 3 of his grade 3 order. Now this card right here is basically your finisher for the deck. It gives all your Mythiarchs 5k, then another 5k to the ones that are placed by abilities. So typically after Veissrugr attacks, the ones that called out are going to get plus 10k each, making it a plus 20k column. It's going to be able to push good for game, and it also makes the ones you call from the order zone before you swing a little bit stronger as well. So all in all, I run it at 3 because I don't want to get clumped full of cards, but you thin enough to where you can see it pretty often. So that, I think, is a very good card as for now. Moving on now, we have the grade 2s. I run 14 of the bird. Now, I run 14 because I think it's a nice, even, solid number. 16, I feel like, is too much because you want to have enough spots for some other flex cards. But 14, very solid. You know, you thin through them enough that where you don't really ever feel like you have too much or too little. So all in all, 14 is a good number. Not too much else to say about this card. It gets a boost. It's one of your defensive options, just all around solid card. It's pretty much going to get replaced in the future as Veissrugr gets some more support, but I really like it for what it is. Very good card for entry-level players. Next off, we got the best card in the deck so far, the first Mythisch. He's really good. I also like him because of his ability to kind of like pseudo-retire. It's a bit different in the aspect of just binding or retiring, is that he swings at a rear guard along with the Vanguard, and I really like that. His resource management's good with counterblast or energy blasting. All in all, just a very great card, and he can draw you a card as well. So it's just really good, you know. Solid card all around, good for resource management. Moving on, we go to the grade 1s. I'm only running 3 of the Draco Kid. Honestly, he's up for termination, probably first in the chopping block in the deck. He's nice because he can put a Mythisch to the bottom of the deck to energy charge 3, but as it stands now, that Soul Blast is really heavy to be able to perform that because Veissrugr himself is 2 Soul Blasts per turn, which means unless you're Persona riding right away, you're only going to be able to do that ability once unless you put some cards into the Soul. So he's okay. He's a 15k booster, but all in all, he's pretty much up for termination. We already know Veissrugr's getting more cards, so he's pretty much next to the chopping block. Next off, no explanation needed. We're running 4 perfect cards. That's pretty much sane and simple. You could swap one out for Elementaria. I just don't swap them all out between my decks as I profile them. 1 Moongate. Nothing really needs to be explained for the Moongate. It's the one of in the deck, and I really like that as you ride, it thins 1 card out of the deck. I know 1 card's not that much, but then this card thins more out of the deck, and it just really helps you get to start hitting triggers. Then, just a small flex spot, I'm running the Prison Order, simply for the reason that it soul charges 3 and nothing else. I know a lot of people like running the grade 1 that boosts, goes into the soul, and then searches for a grade 2. I like that card, but it's also really hard to find right now and unaffordable at the moment. So until we get a reprint, I feel like this is the best budget option. Now, there are some other cards you can opt in for, like Bobalamine, but I don't really think it's necessary. You mostly want to leave your field just to your Mythisch if you can. And the counter blasting isn't too much in this deck, so needing the counter charge isn't really a problem. So I think that this being grade 1, being able to get it down early game to set up for later in the game before too much pressure's put on is really good. And I mean, it's a very cheap card. So if you're wanting a good way to soul charge within budget, I recommend running these. And I'm only running 2 because, like I said, the deck thins like a mofo. So you're more likely to see these pretty early on. And then moving on just into the triggers, I'm running just a typical meta lineup. 3 fronts. Honestly, I would opt to switch these out with the fronts that goes into the soul, because you're never going to call them to rear guard, and Veissrugr needs his soul. Just haven't had them come in the mail yet, but definitely switch those out to those. We're running 4 heals. That's pretty standard. And then we're running 7 criticals. Sorry, 8 criticals. We're running 8 criticals just because Veissrugr hits for some pretty big numbers, and we want to make sure those big numbers are doing as much damage as possible. So 8 criticals is a must. And then finally, the overtrigger. This is pretty much up for personal choice. I personally think that the Brant Gate overtrigger is busted. In Veissrugr, it's not super impactful because by the time he's swinging, you only have 1 column stood, but he himself will get power and a crit, and that 1 column is going to get power and a crit, and if they aren't prepared to guard it, that column is going to smack and kill. Other than that, the only other trigger I would potentially put in here might be the red one, but right now I'm just messing around with it, seeing what I like, and I had this on hand, and the red one is in another deck, and I cannot find it. So that's up for your interpretation, but personally, I always think that the Brant Gate Overtrigger is a solid choice. So with that being said, let me know how your Veissrugr decks are looking. You know, are you enjoying the deck right now? Is there any other deck in the set that came out that you're looking forward to playing? Just let me know. Make sure you leave a like, a comment, and subscribe if you haven't yet. We know we post as much as we can. You're going to see plenty of Veissrugr fights coming here soon because I am hyped for the deck, and I hope you're hyped too. So everybody, enjoy your day, and until next time, peace.